There's value in storytelling.
Mhm.
It enriches your soul. It makes for a fuller and richer society. This is vital. It is vital to the health of our society.
Mhm.
Be a part of it. Be a part of this.
Oh, well, hello everyone. My name is Rodney Veal, and welcome to Rodney Veal's Inspired by podcast. I have had so much fun before actually saying this intro with two people who I can't wait for you to get to know because they are full of life and talent and the harmony and the music of living and creativity, and they just embody it, and they're just super cool. A lot of people in Cincinnati know Kathy Wade, but I am introducing people to Rico Wade as well. This is the first time we have had two guests on a podcast at the same time. So it's a first time event. I can't wait for you folks to sit back and enjoy this journey that we're going to go on with these two fabulous, incredibly talented people. So Rico and Kathy, welcome to Inspired By.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, I got to get in. Okay.
All right.
Got to get in the hot tub time machine. We got to go back to so.
Okay.
I am always amazed by, because, when families produce people who are all into creativity and music and acting and putting stuff on the stage and doing you expect lightning to strike once, but to strike twice. Let's talk about this childhood that produced these two really talented people. I kind of curious. What was your childhood like?
Well, you want to go first?
It was fun. It was great. It was great
There were
fun.
6 of us.
There were six of us. Yes, it was. As the years go on, I appreciate it more. It was not. I thank you for the introduction. At the time, it seemed like this is just the way things are. This is how it's going to be.
Right.
And it is in only as years go on, that I realized that it was extremely extraordinary. I always had an ensemble. Yeah, I had six. I had 5 peers at all times, 5 supporters. Our parents were. I don't know. I was just telling someone earlier today. Probably gave them a run for their money. But
well, 6 of you do.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But you add in this creativity thing. That's a whole. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other.
It had to. I could hear my, like in my head now. I can just imagine my dad's friends saying, "Wade, there's something wrong with your boy." It was creativity, but it was relentless and without bounds, and without judgment. I think that's the thing.
I agree.
Yeah, looking back, why did y'all let me do that? It's like, thank you, but wow.
Well, why, and then why not?
Yes.
I mean,
that's a good
always
phrase.
Well, why not? You can do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you add. So my mother was always about the exposure. We all had to be exposed to something artistic, something in terms of just literacy. You were always exposed. And with 6, we had my mother and father both were only children. So I had all of these great aunts and uncles, my grandmother, I even knew my great grandmother. Um, and you had all these people who were interested, invested in what you were doing, but our parents really made sure about that. So my mother was very much in tune to making sure we had the exposure. My grandmother took me to the opera when it was still at the zoo.
Yes, at the zoo.
At
Yes.
the zoo. See?
That's
Yes.
right. That's Cincinnati. I'm telling you,
Yes.
folks.
Right.
Yes.
Cincinnati Zoo. And I heard a black opera singer, and I thought, well, I can do that with my voice. Well, why not? So that led me to some other things. And then my father was really, both my parents were really, our parents were really into jazz. So I always remember nothing but jazz being played, and all I did was sit around and try to mimic. It was vocalist, primarily female vocalist on my mother's days off, and instrumentalist on my father's days off.
Wow.
So, and we all had to learn the clap song by Brubeck. It was required learning.
For all the kids.
All six of us. Whether you wanted, and it didn't mean you had to hang with it, but you had to learn how to do it.
Did they?
It's very cool.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so much. So there's obviously your parents had an intention. They had a master
Sure.
plan.
For sure.
Did they share with you the master plan after the master plan got started, or did they just? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes parents do tell you, like, this is the reason why we did what we did. I'm like, you go, oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know that they ever shared that. I think it was just implied. For me, I'm number three. So I learned what not to do from one and two because I never liked getting a spanking. I was not about going to get the twitch when told to do that. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
because that was going to be painful. And if I'm going to have a high register, let me use it for a good cause, like singing and not crying. I just dreaded it. I didn't do that.
That is awesome.
Just saying.
Well, that just back in the day, I mean, I'm
Right.
60, so that, yeah, you didn't. Yeah, I learned from my brother. It was
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
he was 5 years older. I said, oh, what not to do? Like,
Right.
what? How not to tick these people off?
Well, I was always, right. Well,
Especially-
I was always fascinated that my mother could find all kinds of things for us to get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Every summer, I did a summer enrichment program of some sort at some school. I did it at Sawyer Junior High School where I went to junior high. I mean, always involved in something. Always.
And Rico, she never stopped. It was like everybody. Everyone, all. So are you two the only two that kind of stayed in the creative, like, zone, so to speak?
For the most part.
It is. We are each creative in our own way.
Right.
Hey, just had a dog make an entrance. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Oh, we got it's our fur babies. We got to let them in. If I were at home, you'd see a cat crawling all over me, and it would be a thing. Doing that.
We are all creative in our own way. One of the things that Kathy mentioned, the plethora of relatives. One of the things that we were given access to was storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think we all are great storytellers in our own way. Kathy and I happen to apply it to the area of the arts. But yeah, you sit down with our siblings, you're gonna get a story.
Yeah, for real. Some version.
Yes. And stories are so important. They're so vital to sharing the human experience, sharing how life is, how to move through life, and what it is that you have experienced, and how to communicate that to other people.
It serves as an anchor.
Yes.
And then you get to build on story. I can remember my very first attorney, Ron Porter, used to run the Arts Consortium, dancer on Broadway, the whole 9 yards. And I can remember him saying to me, you want to always learn how to tell your story, but don't tell it all at the same time. Every time you tell your story, you need to add something new. Not that you have to make it up, but you don't need to deliver all of it at the same time, which I thought was always great advice. So I try to add a spin when I'm talking to people on something that maybe I haven't told before. And if I've shared it once before, then, how do you deliver that story again? But yeah, it was great advice. That, and then the other really good piece of advice from Harriet Page. She said to me after I got my first really significant review, always remain a mystery. People will not be interested if they know everything about you. So you want to remain a mystery. You don't have to deliver all. And those two pieces of advice worked hand in hand for me. Always tell something different to the story and always remain a mystery. So I can add something. You don't get the whole package. You don't get the whole reveal. Just enough to wet your whistle.
I love that philosophy.
Yeah.
That is really
Yeah.
cool. I mean, but the thing is, you got to be open to those philosophies. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in the sense of, I feel like you're for both of you. There's this environment, this family life and environment kind of, like I said, I call it the master plan. I think parents,
Mhm.
do things for a reason. Is it because, and you talked to, and Rico, you talked about storytelling. So that, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, do you understand? You're at a place like, you can look back and go, oh, well, that all makes sense then. So
Right.
I love how you said everybody's a storyteller in our right. Because well, first of all, there's six of you in a house. You gotta fight for the get the word out. Just
Yeah.
I think we can. I think those of us who are surrounded by lots of family members,
Mhm.
you got to
Uh-huh.
work at get your word in because
And
Right.
I must say I didn't think that's where you were going, because I was thinking of storytelling from our perspective in this moment. One of the things about being one of six is, and having some shared experience. There are moments when we can say one thing and everybody knows the whole story, and will. If I were to say to my sister, and then Miriam stood up. See, yes, yes.
that. Oh my god, I love it! I love it! I love it because that's the only that's the bond, that's a bond that only siblings can have. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like you just
Absolutely.
cannot. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can have a great relationships with people outside of family bonds, but there's nothing like a family bond where everybody goes, "Remember that time?
Yep, yeah.
Remember when Ricky did? Oh yeah, I remember." Because
Oh,
that's what we do. And so because it just feels like that. I mean, to me, like, and one of the things that was inspiring about meeting both of you, it's very clear to me there was this joyous upbringing.
Oh yeah.
There was joy. There was
yes.
a lot of like
Yes. Yes.
good times, and I mean, not that we don't minimize
Right.
the challenges. I mean, I can't
Right.
imagine,
Hmm.
Hmm.
six children in a house trying to go forward and keep everybody from inside the bus and no parts dangling outside
Right.
of it. Right, right. And so I'm giving kudos. I'm giving props to your parents on that one.
Thank you.
So I mean, because this is the whole thing. When we talk to people about these being in these careers that are arts related and creative, did when you made the decision, both of you, to do the thing that you are doing, like where you're at now, but looking back and saying it to your parents, did they try to dissuade it, or were they all in? Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like in this, yeah.
No, not at all. My
Hmm.
parents would host parties at our house. For some reason we were the party house.
Yes.
And I would sing at them. I would sing, and then I would always do the jitterbug with my father. He was throwing me through the air, and I mean, it was. I just thought that's what everybody did.
I'm here to inform you, Kathy. Not everybody is
I can
just so
remember
you know.
my mother having a friend of one of the original members of a a comic troupe that Bruce was involved, that Rico was involved in. See, this is
Hmm.
where you family and everybody else. I call him Bruce, you all call him Rico.
Bruce
Anyway,
is fine. Yes.
um,
Please.
he was involved in. She was married to a gentleman who produced music, and he had all this fresh new music. And there was a party at our house when we still lived in East Walnut Hills, and he brought the band. And my mother, when he was done, made a beeline for him and said, "You need to work with her." I'm like,
She was your
I'm,
first agent.
I'm sorry. Yes,
Yes.
she was,
Hmm.
by all means. And ultimately, it became the music that he wrote became my very first CD.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
produced by Grammy winning producer Bill Cunliffe.
And you just on your way.
I
I mean,
mean, who
I
knew?
Well, you don't, and that's why I asked, because
Yeah.
we don't know. I mean,
Right.
I didn't see any of this
Right.
at all.
Coming. Right.
Not parents, no idea, no idea.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
because they were they still are amazed and astounded. You get paid to talk to people. I'm like, yeah, you do. Yes, you can have conversations. It's a good thing. Um, so Rico, I
Yeah.
like you have a music background, but you got the theater background and the acting background. I mean, come on. I mean,
It's
I
like,
pretty
was
amazing. I
it is
agree.
pretty amazing.
I
Like, how?
agree. I don't do anything without him. I realize that. Every show that I've done while building out performing arts educational programming, I always call and say, "Okay, I'm doing another show. Can you write me it's usually a rap song, right? Great lyrics. I've got two rap tunes. One we actually recorded, The Hood is Bigger Than You Think. That's a whole tour, okay, that we turned into a song that's part of a program that I
Wow.
do about respect. But at any rate, yeah, I just don't. So when the opportunity came to create the educational program for America's River Roots, my first call was to him. I said, "Hey, I got this opportunity, and we're going to need a script." And he writes the scripts for our Books Alive for Kids streaming episodes. So
Really? Okay,
yeah,
so
for the
you
most part,
are
he writes all of those. And then he's our mascot, Paige Turner, the purple owl. He is her best friend, and not even just a best friend, but the person that guides her as she traverses the world through the eyes of a child, right? So he reads the stories to her, and then they have an adventure, and we take her somewhere, and Rico comes
wow.
along and answers any questions necessary. It's pretty
So
cool.
it is pretty cool. So like obviously, the early that's why I'm so intrigued by two siblings who are in these parallel tracks of creative
Mhm.
careers that intersect. But were the intersections immediate? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense of, did you go off and do your own things? We have to do our thing, but then we
Right.
come back. And so I'm kind of curious. So was it always like from the day one, like, we gonna collaborate? Just
Well, I that's interesting. I think when
yeah.
opportunities present themselves, that's when the merging began. When I started this
Hmm.
down this road of, well, first of all, just doing the educational programs and building a new one out. First call to him, but then when COVID came and we couldn't take Books Alive for Kids into the classroom anymore, and we had to figure out what's the performative piece going to look like. And we had done some specials about 15 years earlier around the performances of Books of Life for Kids. And he was involved in that. He was an actor and writer for that. Princess Hotcha and the Meadow of Bloom. Who could ever write anything that cool
That was
except
such fun.
Rico Bruce Leonard? Who could? I mean, and the storyline was fabulous. Don't know why we didn't win an Emmy then, but it was fabulous, right?
yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you just keep it moving. But from for me, it's like anything that I find myself doing. I look out on the landscape and figure out who are my collaborators on this.
Mm.
So my first call is always, "Hey, Bruce, what you doing? Got a shot for you." Okay. So I mean,
I love that.
yeah,
It's got to be really pretty cool that, like, it's in house, so to speak. It's
yeah,
an in
yeah,
house
Yes.
collaboration, and so so like I
yeah.
said, in the parallel tracks, we go like you're starring in films. You're in your element, in your zone. It's like, but you're kind of, but you're because you're family, but you're also talented family. You keep coming back to this kind
Mhm.
of connective threads, like you're getting each
Absolutely,
other, which is
absolutely.
interesting
It
about the
is.
storytelling. That which I mean, not to analyze was someone else's family, but man, your
Mhm.
parents set y'all up. They set
I
you up in a
agree.
way to be this, because not
Yeah,
like, be very clear, not everybody's siblings get along. I mean, I
right.
was I was yeah, I do
Yes.
the same thing where I go, doesn't everybody's family get along? Doesn't everybody's family connect and engage and have a good time? Oh, they don't. Okay. And I do a lot of that, but I just feel like in the creatives, there seems that creativity seems to foster a better sort of connective threads. Do
Hmm.
you find that just being in what you do in the theater arts and music fosters better connective threads?
Hmm.
I think that I was very lucky in that I started down this path in Cincinnati with a group of improvisers, the Fairview Impromptu Band. What I learned in the years that followed was just how special they were, just how generous they were.
Mm.
That's very important in a collaborative situation. Um, they were also very talented, and they helped me understand what I didn't know,
Mm.
and set me on the path of acquiring skills, acquiring a skill set. Um, it is. I understand. I've been been on. I understand how it works best, and what environment, especially what environment I need to flourish. It's not always there. It's been a blessing when I've had the opportunity to work with Kathy, because what I don't think during the whole process, I don't think I snapped or anything, did I, Kathy? I don't think I yelled or anything. It's just
No, in
no, no,
fact,
yeah,
what
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
impressed with is that we had quick story sidebar. We
Um,
had this last shoot. We had someone who wasn't moving as quickly as they needed to make sure that the program was going to run on time. Because we're in a union house, and you know what union houses are like. Love the union, but you must always be conscious of time. And
Hmm.
just to watch him go from da 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 to you will do this now. That was it. And the now was not even that loud. And those were not necessarily the words used, nothing harsh, but just, I was
It,
like, there you go. That's the director. You better move. I mean,
but
I can only
the
stand up and say time is money. He
right,
says move,
TikTok, right?
move, because then I'm going to have to turn around and back him up. So why don't you just go ahead and move? He was kind. Okay. But
but
it was just great watching it happen. And the person got the message.
one of the things that I've learned is that that not everyone um, I know what it bring what I hope people bring to the table,
Mm.
and part of the process of at least when I direct being bitterly disappointed that people don't bring what I thought they'd bring.
Oh,
No, no.
but
But here's the
this,
thing.
hey, this
Here's
is
the
the truth of podcast. So if you
Yeah.
land,
But
that
here's
is
the thing.
that is a
Um,
true thing.
Working
Yeah.
with Kathy, it's just such a place. Just walk into place like this is going to work. This is a professional who knows what the hell she's doing. Good. I don't got to worry about that. Let's move forward. Um, I am as a director patient and allow grace,
Hmm.
but
I,
there's professional accountability that I
oh.
appreciate.
Mm.
Um, with and I don't think I've said this to you, Kathy. That's one of the things I appreciate when I'm working with you. Um, it will. I kind of have a sense how things are supposed to happen, and it's always good when I'm surrounded with people who are capable of doing
Yeah.
what I expect,
Yeah.
Mm.
what should be yeah, what should happen.
Yeah.
But I think also too, it's like longevity
Mm-hmm.
forces you to kind
It
of
does.
cut away the unnecessary
Yes.
to get straight to it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
think that's something that as performers at the level that the two of you are at and creators at the level you're at is that over the time, just my observation, and this is, I mean, you're talking about, that's the first time I saw a show, and I'm still talking about the show that I saw last week. Mind you, two people, like as in, you don't understand, you do not understand. This is what it's supposed to be like.
Mhm.
This is what I should never walk into a show and feel like it wasn't predictable. And this is not just because I'm an honest person. I just tell like it is. You know, you as a former educator, you got to tell these kids the truth. Otherwise,
Right.
they will chew you up like
Right.
the shark from Jaws.
Mhm.
They're like, I said you lying. Like, let me take you out. You have to, you know, it. I know what it takes to get to motivate a group of people to create something that engaged an audience so well that people would not allow the natural tendency as a child to act up and cut up.
Mhm.
Those people in that audience, when their peers were not having it because we're
You're
watching
right.
this show and it's good. This is better than good, and you just shut up, sit down. I mean, I hate to say it, also, but you know that's what the child's
Mhm.
thinking in their head because
Right.
if they self-police and self-regulate, and that, you know, as a former educator, that just tells me that you're on the right track. You nailed it as a
Thank
production.
you.
It was nailed, and I think
Okay.
that goes into what Rico is saying about professional expectations.
I'm Bonnie Miles, Membership Coordinator of CET. Thank you for listening to Rodney Veal's Inspired By. This podcast is a production of CET and ThinkTV, two local PBS stations. As PBS stations, the work we do online, on air, and in the community is supported by listeners like you. If you're enjoying the show and would like to support our work, please consider becoming a member at cetconnect.org or thinktv.org. Plus, when you sign up to donate at least $5 a month, you'll get access to special members-only streaming videos on the PBS app through Passport. Learn more at cetconnect.org or thinktv.org.
If you're enjoying this conversation, The Art Show, also hosted by Rodney Veal, is available to stream anytime from anywhere on YouTube or the PBS app.
I will say this. You mentioned earlier joy, the joy of our upbringing. Part of the aim of the production that we just did was to share joy. I wanted the musician to be joyful. I want the storytellers to be joyful. Creating an environment during the process of putting this show together where the players were allowed to lean into joy. Yes, you actually can have fun doing this, and the audience will join you.
Mhm.
Because they were authentically joyful. There were things that that happened that I was so yeah, brought me joy too. Moments where the give and take between the percussionists.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
again part of I guess it will harken back to my experience with the improviser early in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
allowing people to find their voice, creating an environment where you are allowed and you're allowed to find your voice, and we give your voice value. We value your voice.
Wow.
We
Yes.
we need your voice to complete this
Yes.
picture. There was a moment during the rehearsal process where the drummer and the percussionist created a call and response moment that they found organically.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I'm writing that down. And then I'm going to tell everybody I came up with it. No, I'm not doing that. No. It was just, there were moments like that. That was what we needed to have happen.
Right.
And
Right.
what I think when you mentioned the engagement of the audience members, the children,
Right.
this
Yeah.
is absolutely what they saw.
They saw and they felt it. I
And they
Yes.
mean,
felt it.
and as an
Mhm.
audience member,
Yes.
I felt it. And
Yes.
so let's talk about this production because
Mhm.
this production, I mean, like I said, I'm still
I
talking
agree
about
with
it.
you.
It was, but what I loved about it is that it spoke to something that I think is sorely lacking, especially in this day and age. We don't have to go
Mhm.
where you made a case for a certain age group to understand the current landscape, creative landscape did not happen by accident. It is rooted in a history. It's rooted in a shared history, but it's rooted in a specific history at the same time.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I think that's what the audience was. They were you did it in a way that I could understand that these kids were making connective dots. They were connecting the dots. You just showed them,
Exactly.
illustrated it for them, and they were making the connection.
Thank you.
It's interesting you would say that because when
Right.
I had the thought of, first of all, I had to jockey to get the spot, right? To be able to produce the educational component. Even that was rooted in what typically happens, who ends up at the table and who doesn't end up at the
Ooh.
table. And I made a decision once I heard about this America's River Roots that I was going to have a spot at the table. And I
Mm.
really didn't care who I had to ask or maybe tell, but however you want to phrase it, I just knew we had to be there. So once I got that spot, I found myself saying, "Oh, we can produce the educational program, no problem. That's what we do. We got a whole Books Alive for Kids platform. I can make water run. Don't even worry about the river. I'll bring it. We'll bring the river to the stage. It's basically, and we will show people
Mm-hmm.
the migration of the people and the migration of their music because of the migration of the people, right? The crossing of paths. This is what happened. So that was actually when I called Bruce and said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do." I have a show called Black Anthology of Music, the Resilience of Jazz. And this history of, if you follow the history of jazz, you follow the development of this country, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And what we did when I called Bruce, I said, so I'm looking at Black Anthology of Music meets the rest of the people on this migration runway as they are traversing the waterways. This is what's happening. I need to pick up those pieces that we don't necessarily talk about in the
Mm-hmm.
history of jazz, right? Because everything starts with the beat of the drum, or no, the beat of the heart, which is
Oh.
transferred to the beat of the drum in
Mm-hmm.
Africa. It all starts there, right? So how do you tell people that so that they get it and that they embrace it and that it's okay? It's not a bad thing. It's not something we're going to dismiss. It's history. And if you understand this history, you can then celebrate the richness of all of our backgrounds collectively. So for me, that was the goal. That and I
Right.
and I was asked a couple of times, well, what do you think the reaction is going to be? The reactions should be joyous because we just painted a beautiful picture of how the connectivity, the collaboration, the joining of, the exchanging of is a good thing.
Mm.
But you can't get that good thing unless we celebrate all of the mosaic.
Right.
All of the
You
mosaic.
can't pick and choose which
No,
square of the
no,
mosaic. And so
right.
and there's something really compelling that, and this is because you said it, or you talked about you didn't wait for an invitation to the table,
Mm-mm,
because it's a tendency, and this is something like the thing that we're adding into the podcast is this question, because it can feel like you're an imposter
mm,
if you are at the table and you don't have the confidence to be at
mm-hmm,
that table. So let's talk about the confidence to say, "Oh, I need to
mm-hmm.
be at that table," and not feel like you're not supposed to be at the table, because we harbor that. I mean, let's talk
Right.
about that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that just comes from, as Bruce mentioned earlier, you do something repetitively and your confidence level should rise. Every success should bring you another level of, oh, I could do that. Or it should take you from anxiety to awesome. Boy, that was awesome. I'm going to do that again. I don't like amusement parks because I don't like those rides to go dippity. I can't do it. I can barely get in the elevator, right?
Oh, wow,
But
that's
I
interesting.
do, you know. I was on the highway this morning. I can barely drive the highway, but I have to wrap my head around it because I've got to meet that, right? To get to where I'm going, I've got
You
to
had to
face
confront
it.
it, like
You
you
have
had
to
to face
confront
it.
it. You've got
Mhm.
to do it. And sometimes I say it to myself where I'm just going to have to pony up, put your big girl bottoms on and get it going, right? It never ends. It's always there. But if I get to where we want to go or where we're headed to go and we were successful in getting there, I'm good to go for the next. I will not hesitate the next time something comes up. I will find whoever I need to find and say, so I know there's a chair there for me. And if not, I'll just bring mine with me. As quoted, as stated by some very prolific woman, you have to, yes, you can And don't get me wrong, there are times when nobody can beat me up better than me,
Oh, that
right?
is such a true statement. I think that we
Nobody
all.
can beat, no,
Oh.
there's nobody on the planet that's got more power over beating me up than me.
Mm.
And sometimes I just have to back off and say, hey, get off your case. It's okay. And
Hmm.
then you go out and you find creatives to work with, like your brother,
I
Jason
love it.
Holmes. I mean,
I love
Jason
it.
Alexander Holmes from the May Festival. I mean, as
Oh
the
my
music
goodness.
director, it was
Hmm.
Right.
he is amazing. Working with
Amazing.
Dr. Tammy
Tammy Canoodle. Oh yes.
Canardone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
And
mean,
so it's
and
you.
part of that, let me be very clear. There was
Yeah. No. No.
a lot of intentionality. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Hmm.
Yeah.
In that production, it was
Yeah. There was.
intentional. It was
It,
intentional that
hmm.
I asked Revolution Dance Theater. I had no idea all of our dancers, two of them came from Ohio State's dance program. They're all in the troupe, right? But I had no idea that I was going to end up with six phenomenal young. The
Young.
whole purpose of
Young.
Hmm.
that is that when they
Was to
came out, those kids in the audience were like, "Oh my God, can I
yes.
do
You
that?" The
see
bass
yourself.
player, right? The
Hmm.
The
bass
Oh,
bass player
player,
that
oh
got
my
me.
goodness.
The
Yes.
Cadence,
bass.
is
That's where we
15
start. Yeah.
years old and a junior at Wanted Hills. And she opened the show with one of the toughest jazz tunes on
Hmm.
the planet and
At
didn't
50,
miss a note. Did
at
not miss a
15.
note
No, she
at
didn't. And I
15.
know because I was there. I
Right.
can testify to what you are saying. And the sheer look of shock on my face
Yes.
that
Yes.
I'm like, who is this old soul who just
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm like,
Exactly.
at 15, I'm like, well, and I knew it was special because you had multi-generational
Yes.
representation on the stage.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and to see those other musicians give her props
Yes.
and
Yes.
say, this is the real deal. That's the real
Yes.
deal.
Hmm.
Yes.
It was so I left on a high.
Hmm. We all did.
My drive back was like the sun's out, the birds are chirping. I just experienced something really special.
Yeah.
And I think the
Yeah.
audience did as well. But I think when you said that intentionality, it's like, for the both of you, it's like that is the number one thing. I think a lot of times
Yeah.
when the intention
Yes.
over time is like you're done.
Right.
You're done. You're not proving anything. You're
Right.
just saying, my intention is to work with these people to do
Right.
this show, and I'm not looking to the end result. I don't. I'm kind of curious about it because I'm at a place now where I make art and I just make it.
Mhm.
And they're
Hmm.
like, so how do you think people are going to receive it? I don't know.
Mhm.
Not really my
Hmm.
business.
Right.
Not
Exactly.
really my
Hope they
business.
like it, but oh
Hope they
well.
like, and it ain't necessarily for everybody.
Right.
Um,
Oh,
Right. Right.
that is a tough one,
Yeah.
especially for young people. I
hmm.
Yeah.
think as young creatives, and you two both are, dealing with, like I said, multi-generation of folks who are in this realm,
Mhm.
in this creative realm, music and theater. How do we tell these young people? It's like you can't, like it's a tough thing. Youth begot some,
Yeah.
running into the wall. It's like, there is a door right there. But why
Yes.
you might want to not run into the wall.
Yeah. Go that way.
Go this way. And so how do you translate that in a multi-generational setting that doesn't it's not patronizing, just not,
Mhm.
what I'm saying? How do you do that? I mean, I want this for our audience,
Yeah.
Yes. Listening is very important. I have had the opportunity over the last 7 years to work with consistently work with young people, high schoolers, middle schoolers. Um, Very early in the interaction, I retired a lot of language. Um, it was language
Oh,
that was useful to me. It didn't mean dilly squat to them.
wow.
Um, so engaging them and asking them without necessarily stopping the process, but inviting them to share their language. Um, Again, letting them know that I value their voice. We're in a moment where there are fewer gatekeepers than there once were. I used to
Mm.
say used to say there were none. They're still there. There are fewer. You have access to creative outlets that you did not necessarily. I remember This was yes, a kind of a growing moment for me because I was disparaging TikTok a few years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and a young man said, "They're telling stories." Oh, yes, they are. I'm sorry. I will, I will reconsider. Some of them are not. No, that's what I think that what I said was, that's not a very good story. And he said, there are a lot of bad stories out there. Yeah, you got a point. Okay. Okay.
Right. I mean, but yes, but I just find that very interesting that the young people recognize it as storytelling.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. And I value storytelling. Um,
Mhm.
uh, uh, don't stop there. Don't stop at 30 seconds or 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever it is.
Right.
Um, allow your yes, and it's a
Yes.
Mm,
gateway. I mean,
And
it's a go.
you are
It's an on
entering.
ramp.
It's
It's an
it's an
right.
on ramp,
on ramp.
Right.
Yes,
and
Right.
it's not the above all and end all. And I think
absolutely. And look around to see what else can be done and what else is being done. Expand your worldview.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
mm,
it
Mm-hmm.
starts in this small room, but yes, please step outside of the room, see what else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
right, absolutely,
Use your,
yeah, right. Because it doesn't. I mean, doesn't it? I mean, as a creator, like having a larger worldview allows you to be even more creative.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
I
It does.
find it's like
It
don't you
does.
want to there was a one of my favorite choreographers, William Forsythe. He
Mm-hmm.
I had a you, I was very lucky to meet an idol. you know to meet someone, I'm like, oh, if I could only be you. Then if I could only be you. And what was really great, he said, you all have tools in your tool belt. My job is just to show you some more tools to add to the belt, and you mix and match those tools,
yes,
Right.
which is a worldview. It's like, so, like, and so like I said, I wasn't in the process of the creation. I was the beneficiary of watching you two and your group. The group collaborated as a lot of people, and I loved it. And I loved it. I was like, it was
Thank
epic. It
you.
was so epic, and I was like, yes, this is what needs how it's supposed to be done. And what was very interesting is I just feel like, do you always, we don't always consider what the audience is, but because we're dealing with a young audience of young people, and it was geared towards an audience of young people, are you aware of the possibility of it being the ripple effect to changing the fabric of what it is that
That's
we're
the
currently living in?
that's the goal. That is
yes,
always the goal.
yes, always.
So just personally, but from the learning through art lens, that is the goal. We have flipped the three R's, and I hope I get this right: representation, relevance, and I always lose one of the R's. But from our perspective, we have to make sure that you see yourself in whatever we do. You must see yourself to be yourself. So
Oh,
whatever we put out there, it is to reinforce for you. And this has no age limit. It
no,
can
it
be
doesn't.
birth to death.
You got it. We
You
all need
must
the reputation.
always see yourself. And if you don't see yourself, then infuse yourself into the picture. Got to do it.
Oh,
You have to.
oh.
But seeing yourself early in life, this is one of the reasons why Books of Life for Kids became such a focal program, a centerpiece program, not only for the organization, but for what we had to do. And I was kicking and screaming when this happened. Almost 30 years ago, the arts were pulled out of schools, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
everything became integrated arts education, which I didn't understand what the heck that was because for my world, art needs to be taught for the sake of art. Art is what makes us human. And if we
Mm-hmm.
utilize art, then we can build bonds and be a much better and more resilient community.
Mm-hmm. I
Well,
agree 100%.
you take that, then you need to be able to understand. I couldn't understand why wouldn't a child want to read? So I asked my late husband's niece at the time if I had to get into the arts integrated sphere and I wanted to take books and make them walk across water and speak to people and dance across the floor to engage a child to want to read. what curriculum topic would that fall under? And she said language arts. And I said, Eureka, let's go. And that was the impetus to start Books Alive for Kids. Why wouldn't a child want to read? Because we always read. That was like the
Yes.
first rule of life in the house. Now that's a story within itself. If you didn't read, reading and proper grammar. Oh Lord.
Oh.
Don't end a sentence with a preposition because you're gonna pick your mouth up
Oh.
on the other side of the room.
Mm.
Now go get your
Mm.
mouth, and when you put it back on, make sure that preposition's in the right place. Okay?
Yep.
So so I not
Mm.
understanding the need, the desire not to want to read just kind of baffled me. So that was the impetus in saying, first, let's figure out how to engage kids to read. Once we got that figured out, now what else? Who else needs to be at the table with this child? Well, the whole family. So now we wrap the entire family
Into this.
into
Into.
literacy, right, and
Right.
engagement. At the same time, we are empowering parents, adults, caregivers, guardians. We're empowering you with the skill set that we've developed to show you, you too can do this. You don't need us to do this. You can do it yourself. I'm just going to show you real quick. Here you go. That has now morphed into a platform, an app, streaming
So,
episodes,
and it
all
just
of
keeps.
that.
And it just keeps expanding out.
Exactly. And now it's first production. So what's going to happen with this? We are now going to take the script, because we couldn't find a book. Books Alive for Kids is all based on taking
Existing.
existing books and
Existing
making them come
books.
alive, right?
Okay.
And one of the driving forces of that is making sure that when we pick a book, we curate books that will embrace, celebrate, and demonstrate you belong here because you see yourself here.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do next, since we couldn't find a book that captured the history as we just told it to you in Sounds from the River, we're taking the script and turning that into the book. And
Oh,
now we're seeking
nice.
an illustrator to give us the
Oh,
illustrations that we
and
need.
and let me hook you up after the podcast.
All right. All right.
I have some suggestions on some illustrators.
Oh my
Thank you.
God, that
Thank
is
You
all
know,
we need.
I have some suggestions.
That is
So,
all we need. Because my next, another thing of making yourself visible at the table, that's our next thing. And
right.
now that I've conquered that fear, because I never really wanted to write books, we have the publishing rights for paperback that we use. But that's not owning the book. Now that we
Yeah.
have a book that we own,
Mhm.
sky's the limit. We can do this with anything. Not only that, but having produced this highly engaging performance
Mhm.
in one of the cities, as they put in the press release, most prestigious theaters in town.
Mhm. Right.
I said to my brother, I never thought that I would get to this age of, and
I love. Yes, we don't. We
and
don't. We
Mhm.
don't
and
name it. I get
I
it.
and here we are at the PNG in the Aeronaut. I mean, who would have thunk
Mhm.
it? That was not
Well,
in my meal plan.
I
It
love how you just. I say that all the time. It
was
wasn't
not in
his.
my meal plan.
And so that I love the fact that because this is all starting from a very simple word, intentional.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
The int-
intentional. And
that
saying that intentional was almost saying it with fire because there's so much crazy out here right now. So you have to be
Mhm.
intentional. You have to be.
Yes.
absolutely, and
Every
it's like,
moment is a teaching opportunity.
oh,
Every moment.
Yes.
say that again. And I mean, and that's important for people to understand the power of live performance.
Yes.
Yes.
You just
Yeah.
can't, you got to make the time
Yes.
and exert the effort.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it was,
Absolutely.
so I had to tell people that, when we received the invitation, it got lost in the email a little bit, and then we got a reminder. Thank you, Carissa. And then but then that's the joy. That's the joy of being in a creative realm, of realizing you make the effort, and look what the embarrassment of riches that I received as a patron, as someone who's in this world. But then I got to the joy of witnessing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, world class.
Thank you.
World
Thank you.
class. World class. I mean, it was. it was it was so rich about the experience. And I just thought to myself, and you something what you said earlier, I was like, no one has put this story down
Hmm.
in a way that can be reproduced for that age group
Yes.
to fill in the gap. Because, like I said, now the curiosity is like, well, where else can I go with this exploration? Like, where else can,
Yeah.
like, needs to be, and it is the stepping stone to that kind of exploration. And so, what is next for the two of you, your collaborative
So
beyond the book?
I will go first
Okay.
and say this.
Okay.
We had the privilege and the opportunity to present the show to the general public at the America's River Roots Festival.
Mm-hmm.
You think the sixth graders' reaction was something? You should have seen the
Oh,
grown adults. I had grown men screaming at the top of their lungs when we made it clear that we understood the historical journey and timing of the story, timing in terms of chronological order,
mm-hmm.
and being able to physically and melodically present that with music that they knew. I'm here to tell you, when we finally got to Zydeco, bluegrass, and
Right.
country, they were like, yeah, I get it. I see
I.
how all this goes together. I can see that
Mhm.
migration. I mean, it was amazing. It was just amazing. So, that being said, one of the things that we're looking at, and Bruce and I have already had this discussion, how do we package this up and take it on the road?
Mm.
And keeping in mind that it can be a theater piece in anybody's theater
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
for any age group, but most
Yes.
definitely something that we can insist families come and see together.
Absolutely. Oh, I totally see that. And so I am just in awe. I'm just like, no, as a, like I said, it's like I'm in awe of that sort of grand thinking. And,
Hmm.
because a lot of times we have a tendency to kind of be, like you said, our own worst critic, our
Yeah,
own worst internal stopping mechanism to moving
absolutely.
forward. And so, what would you say to folks who may have that inside of them, ready to kind of jump on that? This, I think, is a fabulous place to be. I'm
Mhm.
trying to get as many people on this side of the fence as humanly possible. It's like, get on board with this thinking, because it'll change your world
Yeah,
and your
yeah,
life and other
yeah,
people's lives.
right.
What would you say to them? Would you say to them to get them on board?
We need your voice.
Hmm.
Um, we and you are enough.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
I like that. You are enough.
Wow, that
It
And
is
if you
is.
such a.
want to, and if you want to be more, you can.
Hmm.
But
Yes, 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 yes.
but
And in fact, and when you collaborate, you will become more.
you do,
Um,
you do.
you will encounter voices that you had not anticipated, and they will push you further than you had thought possible.
This is a great example. As you know, in the beginning of the show, which the whole water thing, I think was just a conversation I had with Bruce. I said, so I'm thinking we need water. How do we make that happen? We literally sent our stage manager on a virtual hunt to identify various vendors, because there aren't any fabric stores anymore, right?
Right, right,
Mhm.
You
right.
can't run
Yes.
out to the mall and get a piece of fabric. So we found a company in California who assured me, oh, Miss Way, we'll have it there in 3 days. Okay, I got time. That's good. I'm gonna pray we get this right. So we found the chiffon with just
Mm-hmm.
enough glitter in it to
Hmm.
really make you feel like it was the water. And
Was
we
the
bought it
water?
in two different shades of blue. It took
Yes.
us a minute once we got, because it ran the length of the aisle, right,
Yes, it
on
did.
both
Mm-hmm.
sides. And the
Yes.
thought that came to our minds during rehearsal was, oh, okay, the water's flat in the middle. Let's put a person in there.
Hmm.
That got us
Yes.
another set of kids. I was like, oh, this is happening.
It,
to see that water from the
just to go from
balcony.
river to this. I mean,
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So, in
the
the grand scheme of things, it's always it's that collective input, but it all really starts with just somebody saying, "So I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning, Bruce, but I'm just thinking about this. What do you think?"
oh,
Yes.
so you said
There,
what? Oh, you send those 4 a.m. texts.
it is.
Okay. Okay.
There a lot of waking up in the middle of the night going, oh, wait a minute. This will work.
Exactly. Exactly. So, you know.
Oh, and it was a masterful effect because what it did, you broke the wall.
Yeah.
Yes. That was
And so
Exactly.
like
mhm.
that
You get to bring your imagination to
This
this.
is yes.
absolutely and they that there it was riotous their
Mm,
response to that.
it was.
It was like
It
they were
was.
like, "Oh, so you can
You
break
can
the
do
wall. You
yes.
can break the wall. Okay."
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
there wasn't a distance. It was
Right.
engaging. And then they saw how young they were, and then they saw that they were
Hmm.
moving. They had a movement vocabulary that felt contemporary, that felt of the
Yes.
moment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you see like all it's like it's like that's why when I it's not just that you buy a ticket and you sit down and get entertained. There is a whole thought process that makes a production successful that I want the audience to understand.
Hmm.
How long did it take you guys would to come like to produce this?
You know, okay, so on our 30th anniversary, maybe Paul Sturkey said to me, there's a function, a new event that's being brewed, that's being planned. And I said, what? And he said, America's River Roots. And I said, who's, running it? I want to be in. From the moment that I finished the conversation, the first conversation, and getting to the point of realizing that we were going to be given the opportunity to produce the educational program and actually putting the time in, I probably called Bruce 10 months ago, maybe. It wasn't quite a year.
It was
It was
yes.
not.
Mhm.
And it was just a conversation. I just, as I said to you earlier, hey, we're going to start at the black, at book, at the, a black anthology of
Anthology.
music.
Mhm.
We're going to start there and add. And once you start writing grants and having to tell people this is what we're doing, you can then refine your boilerplate statement. And the better I was able to refine that statement, really gave credence, I think, for his next step. And then one of the things that I had to really think about was I know the times that we live in. So I need to be very strategic and intentional about who's working with us. My second
Mm,
call was to Dr. Tammy, as I like to call her,
Mhm.
musicologist and historian beyond belief.
yeah.
And to watch the emails between Bruce and Dr. Tammy was just masterful. I mean,
Mm,
but honestly, I think the moment, full circle moment of understanding the impact that our parents had on us in terms of jazz was when I
Mhm.
first saw his song list. I was like,
okay, so
Dad, this is great.
is
Somebody learned something. This is great. I
so
send it
so
off to Dr. Tammy. She writes back, this is great.
That's yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I'm going to add to this, but this is
oh,
great. So it is that process all started, I'd say about 10 months ago, and
wow.
finally
Mhm.
when he put pen to paper, maybe 6 months ago,
Maybe.
maybe not.
Wow. Right.
I
It's
mean, it
just
Mhm.
was
that's a great
when you know, you know, you
when
know.
you know,
Mhm.
but that's like but
But
I
his
think
writing is so profound. I had, let me just say this, at the public performance, the bass player, Cadence, her dad, one of her parents was always with her, right? The dad brought her to that particular gig. And I promised him that I would introduce him to Bruce because he read verse, note, all of it. he critiqued the heck out of the show and kept saying the writing was so rich. I just need to meet the writer. I said, That's my brother. And when he comes in, I'll call Cadence and y'all just come on over. Because he's got so much to say. He said, I just want you to know the thing that I was left with is that I was left wanting more. And if you're ever left wanting more, you're going to have a hit on your hands.
That is a good. That is good
Excellent
son
point.
advice. Is this
Excellent point.
so? You're right. Like I said, it was for me. I was like, and then have such a beautiful narrator on stage.
Oh,
Yes.
A
Yes.
Mope, come on
okay.
now, come
So-
on.
Yes.
I made that call because once again, we were applying for a grant that we did not get, which is fine because what I did get was a moped. We'll find some money, right?
But you can't find an Mope.
No, you can't.
There's only one.
No,
There's
you
only
can't.
one.
And my
One of
board
one.
chair and Omope, in fact, my Omope has known me. My daughter is 48. She has known me
Mhm.
for 49 years because I was pregnant when we met. Okay.
Wow.
And actually, I was not pregnant. I got pregnant after I had met her. We were all in Anaerobic Contemporary Gospel
Anaerobic.
Ensemble from the University of Cincinnati. And I kept thinking to myself, I need a noted storyteller that will talk to me today and tell me yes or no. I don't have time to go through agents. I don't need to make up somebody. I need to go to somebody who does this and does it well. And she's got a national reputation. So it
I
was a
know.
phone call. I said, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'd like. You're going to be the griot, the storyteller. And of course, at that point, I didn't have a script, but I had Bruce. So I figured we're good to go.
And but the thing is, there's a trust
Yes.
because
Yes.
of the authenticity of
Yes.
the work that you have done and do, and Bruce does, and Rico.
Yes.
You know, so, do you know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of that, once you have that, yeah, and like I said, she's just
Oh my God. She was
every,
so
every time I get in a
clear,
room with her,
clean.
I'm having a good time. I am just like, I'm like this. Let me just listen to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Take me on this journey and explain this world to me.
Exactly.
Because I think that's really what was telling. I love that, like you said, it left you wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as folks who are listening to, because there'll be people who are in the arts who are going to listen to this, but there are people who are not in the arts.
Right.
How do we convince those folks who are not in the arts that that skill set of knowing how to make something that inspires and pulls all of us collectively forward? What role do they play in this? The non-artist. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Go ahead.
There's value in there's value in storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
It is important. It enriches your soul.
Mm-hmm.
It makes for a fuller and richer society. This is vital. It is vital to the health of our society.
Mm-hmm.
Be a part of this.
Be a part. Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I love that. Absolutely.
And bring yourself. Bring your
you belong. One of the things that for this particular performance, we talked about the river. It was one of the things that was gratifying. It was hear a parent mention that watching students come into the Aronoff and being somewhat intimidated.
Yes.
And then watching them leave the Aronoff knowing this space is for me. Yes. You belong here.
Mm-hmm.
That was so gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
You belong in this process. Mm-hmm. Be a part of this.
Oh, there just must be something in the water, because I just wrote an op-ed talking about that.
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm just saying, I just turned it in today.
Wonderful.
I mean, because there's a value, and I've always said in this podcast has been about the conversation. It's not a I have a scripted questions.
Right.
No,
Mhm.
it's a conversation.
Right.
I even described it as we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation.
Right.
That and that's what it should do. These things of like you belong. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason because that's what stops people. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
see some people
Mhm.
like I don't belong. Oh, I don't know. That's not for me. I'm like, who told you it wasn't for you?
Right.
I want to
Right.
know. I no. The sky's the limits when you realize that you are value. You have a value and you have something that you add to the table.
Right.
And the two
Right.
of you have demonstrated that and have talked about it. And it's just, whoo. That's all I got is so I'm grateful. I'm hoping my audience was grateful, but this has been the most delightful conversation I could ever have had to start kickoff
Yeah.
season 4.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, there we go.
So can I just do one shameless little plug?
Go ahead, do that shameless plug. Yes.
This happened a couple of years ago when we won Emmys. I don't know if
Yes.
there's any more history out here about this or not, but we actually won Emmys the same year. And I said
Same
to
year.
Bruce during the rehearsal process, I turned to him and I said, "Now, what do you think our parents would say?" Have no idea.
Oh.
No. And I was there. I interviewed you
You did.
coming
I came off
off the
stage.
stage
Yeah.
because I'm a part of this world that I didn't see coming.
Yep. There you go.
So we, like I said, that I think that's the reason why we connected a bond because I was like, I understand. I understood where you were coming from, and now these two. Look at all those multiple regional Emmy winners on a screen. I'm just saying. I'm just going to say that out loud and be proud of that guy.